Very good afternoon from Finland, and warmly welcome into the new moon meditation in Scorpio. And also warmly welcome our lovely Vietnamese group. I just was there, so I send my loving regards to everybody, and also welcoming our Anne, who is interpreting. Also, one note for this beginning is that because this new moon is so particularly amazingly important for us, if you could have your notebooks available and write all the insights you might get, to be very aware and trying to be as sensitive as possible to all of these many energies which are now pouring through our group and through all light workers. This is also a Hindu festival time of Diwali, which is the festival of lights. If you can and have candles around you to have the living light would be very nice. We will start now from that whole idea of the Diwali. It is one of the most popular festivals of Hinduism, and it is very old festival referring to the light, and that's why all kinds of lights are burning during this festival time. All these celebrations are going on in temples and homes and shops, office buildings, and they are brightly illuminated. Maybe we too, because when we study a little bit about the idea and using the scientific understanding of astrology, it is really very meaningful moment in relationship to the solar angels. When we have Venus in a Scorpio, it is like a prototype of this idea how the solar angels, those fiery hearts, were descending into matter. Normally, it is celebrated like 5 days, which is really referring the cycle of or the number related to planet Venus, all of these fives, and the strong fifth ray, which is related to Venus. And this, when we have the new moon moment, it is the climax of that celebration. It is also going inside the darkest night, according to the Hindu Vedic tradition, in the month of Kartika. This Kartika month, or Kartik month, is the 8th month in the Hindu calendar, so referring to Scorpio. This month is considered to be the most religious and sacred. And let us think for a while why we could also think about the time of the Scorpio is about the most sacred time. Scorpio is related to humanity. And when we have been going through the decision period in Libra and turning again and strengthening ourselves on the spiritual path and all which is making the mundane holy, we have the sign Scorpio like the first step on that new chosen or a strengthened choice towards the light. And that is the whole battle here, down to earth among humanity, to fight towards the light. Sri Lakshmi is related to new moon and then Lord Vishnu to the full moon. These two great deities, it's said that they have their return. And it is in this side of the year when this return is happening. So we can think about the Sri Lakshmi, planet Venus is indicating this pattern of the solar angels, and then Lord Vishnu is that planet Neptune, which is again indicating in the higher realm of the same idea of the redemptive work of the solar angels. Also, Lord Vishnu is some reflection, or the Christ is the reflection of Lord Vishnu. So this is the great devotional and dedicational spiritual time of the year. Also, it is people are dressing themselves like in the fest, and by their clothings, also respecting the moment. As said, this is said to be the return of Lakshmi. Then I'm sorry, I started to translate in Finnish, but today I'm not doing that. So this is the divine celestial festival. The inner light is supposed to shine through. And we can say, like, when we think about the annual arc and cycle, so it is in that time when we have passed the moment of equinox in Libra, it's like that this new approach towards the inner life is starting. And it is symbolizing the victory of Dharma over Adharma. And it's good to think about, all of us to think about, what is our Dharma? What is the Dharma of the group? It is indicating light, the victory of light over darkness, victory of good over evil, victory of knowledge over ignorance. All those wonderful ideas. And that is how we say, in Scorpio, warrior am I, and from the battle I emerge triumphant. So it is all these victories that we can think of. Let us look at what is now today. Venus, Lakshmi, is here in Sagittarius, which is squaring Saturn, the planet of opportunity and the planet of disciple, and then opposing the heart, the Jupiter. Well, there is a square and opposition. So two legs or two arms are colored, or actually we can think about that all of these three are taken in consideration in the mutual cross. But this return idea, how the soul qualities can return, we can see that this new moon is emphasizing the pattern, which is not easy, but it is exactly how the soul always works. So we can say that wherever we have squares and the cross enlightened, it is how the soul works. Today, women in India and in those regions are creating these just amazing, beautiful geometrical patterns. And which, what it is telling to us, it is actually imitating the patterns of the inner inhabitants. The shining ones, called Rangoli, is an art form. They are just really, really beautiful. We can say that on the mental plane, the Devic forces, Devic presences are creating those patterns of beauty and harmony. These patterns are created on the floor or ground. using all kinds of materials like colored rice and dry flour, colored sand, or flower petals. The purpose of this rangoli is the decoration, and it is thought to bring good luck and reunite us with the inner forces. And when we think that last month Libra, we made that choice. And now we are starting to connect us more consciously with those forces, those which are building within, but also those ones who have passed into the other side, and all the great leaders on the other side. So let us just for a while turn in these beautiful patterns, but those inner forces, trying to understand how these Devic forces are building geometrical beauty, and how we are under the fourth ray, which is pouring now through Scorpio. So this is about harmony, the balance, returning the forces of the soul and Lakshmi, bringing the richness of soul. When we talk about this return of Lakshmi, you may also think about where is your Venus in your chart situated, and trying to gain deeper understanding how the soul forces are working during this time behind the scenes. So this new moon in Scorpio, it is bringing us the understanding of empowerment, confronting limits, getting to the truth, regeneration, and transformation. Strong ideas which are really, really helping us. During this meditation, try to meditate upon your life and how much you actually scientifically understand about the energy of a Scorpio and what it is doing through these trials, because that is certainly that during the Scorpio of these emotional reactions and reservations are possible, but yet there is this soul power which is now working very strongly and coming via the soul of humanity. So we remember, warrior am I, and from the battle I emerge triumphant. Now this triangle which is activated, the water triangle, when we have these two other signs related to it, is Cancer and Pisces. So now when you were reflecting where is your Venus, reflect how this water triangle in your chart, how it is situated. And think about now we are under water. It's really interesting that like the highest thought and idea in Scorpio is to lift the Hydra from the mud, from the darkness of water into the Buddhi. So that's why it's important for us to understand first how the water is working, the element of water is working, because it is working now via the lower lunar lords and affecting the psyche of humanity. So the watery reactions and the activities is somehow now present, but we as disciples, we are supposed to uplift then those lower qualities using the air and Mercury. But what are these methods to be used during the month of Scorpio? The water, how the water is working, element of water, that we would be able to really work that into our lives. Hercules, what Hercules did, he was humbling himself. He was falling on his knees. So let us meditate upon that. Water is also the element of purification. And we may think how to step into those higher waters to still even more purify ourselves. Master DK calls about that is the habit of the disciple to purify. And in that sense, it is like eternal path that we are upon on the path of purification. And then the cross that we are upon, time of the Scorpio, it relates us to the cross of the fixed cross. In Treatise on White Magic, DK says, he, the disciple, must, if I may express it symbolically, and yet at the same time accurately, be able to utter forth the achievement which is the goal of his endeavor. In each of these four signs and under each of these four powers. So let us turn into these very important sentences and thus to those powers which they are revealing. In Taurus, he must be able to say, I seek illumination and am myself the light. Think about in which house or houses you have the Taurus. And think about these words, I seek illumination and am myself the light. In Leo, he will say, I know myself to be the one. I rule by law. I know myself to be the one. I rule by law. In Aquarius, the word spoken will be, I am the server, and I, the dispenser, am of living water. I am the server, and I, the dispenser, am of living water. And in Scorpio, he will say, the words he will utter forth in Scorpio. Illusion cannot hold me. I am the bird that flies with utter freedom. Let us contemplate these words. These are really powerful thought forms. Illusion cannot hold me. I am the bird that flies with utter freedom. The bird is indicating the soul. Let us have these for our guidelines for the coming month. We are the birds that fly with utter freedom. We have to choose it, and we will now start to look also the astrology, and you actually will see this very, very amazing symbol which is given to us. So now we are living the new moon time, which is said also that it is occultly the most sacred time. But the new moon energies, it is basically like the new group of observers and the men and women of goodwill can respond to these higher, very, very subtle energies which are available during the new moon, because it is more of relationship with the shambolic energies and the new impulses. So the average humanity cannot yet use the potentiality of the moment. So now the sun is conjuncting with the moon, representing the end of the one cycle and the beginning of another new 28 days cycle. And this 28 is related to the cycle of initiation, thus it is the number which is related to Capricorn. It gives us an invigorating burst of energy and initiative. So, but for the disciples, it is beneficial also in consciousness-wise. But the lower lunar lords are also active during these times. And Black Lords can use this time for their means, so we have to be very vigilant and watchful. Let us look now at the astrology of the time. Why it is also said that it is one of the most powerful moments is because this conjunction indicates the union between the father and the mother. Occultly light and darkness have reached the purpose of a particular period. And when we were thinking about the idea in the return of Lakshmi, it is over the light, the victory of light over the darkness. So this conjunction represents the renewal. So what do you think that in which way you can use these renewing energies? And how you are thinking that you should be renewed? Also, we can recognize that the Mercury, which is the highest ruler of Scorpio, is actually in its own sign, making it very powerful. And it is in the third decade, behind which we have the constellation of Hercules. So still, like in many ways, this new moon is indicating the victory, the energies of victory. And think that next year when we have the new moon in Scorpio, we might have a time when the great conclave has taken place. But also we know that the time of the forerunner is over. That's why this is the last new moon in Scorpio during the time of the forerunner. And we are, in one sense, ending it into very beautiful and good bringing ideas. Let us recognize that. So now we have also new moon trining with the Saturn. The Saturn is the planet of opportunity. What kind of opportunity you could imagine now, or gain the understanding, some insights? The new moon in Scorpio, the last new moon in Scorpio. Think about how historical moment we are living. It can bring balance and stability, reliability, structure. And this training, it can bring us help in that removing obstacles. So let us use that for us the way, removing obstacles, and how the group is now working in the ethers and in the aura of humanity, helping humanity to remove all these separating obstacles. And we are focusing on achievement of the group. Put your all inner powers now to help every single soul, your brother and sister souls, to achieve. And reinforcing the foundation, the new good foundation in soul, in our lives. Then we have very interesting thing. Mars is opposing Pluto. But then also that the Pluto is in sextile with Mercury. Pluto is the special ruler of Scorpio, relating us to the Syrian forces. It is Anubis dog in Egyptian myth. The quality or the inner tendency to use our smell, which is the highest of our senses, to smell the good, the beauty. And then we continue this amazing sextile with the Pluto, with Neptune. So Lord Vishnu, which is in the full moon time of Scorpio, is the return of Lord Vishnu, the Christ force, is all related to this new moon. So as said, there is the Mars opposing Pluto, Mars, which is the esoteric and exoteric ruler of Scorpio, and now opposing the, or they are on the same cross. And also let us recognize that this Mars is, it is in Cancer, which can be very reactive, but it can bring also very, very strong forces of the higher, like a celestial Mars forces. So bringing us very, very potent moments as well. So now this, what is fantastic is that the kite is formed. And we have Mercury in relationship, this kite. Kite is somehow indicating the freedom. And if we think about these beautiful words in Scorpio that we were just repeating, illusion cannot hold me. I am the bird that flies with utter freedom. So this idea of freedom is represented in kite. And now we have that symbol for us in this last new moon in Scorpio. It is some kind of blessing, since it offers the native the initiative and opportunity to work more to improve on natural talents. We can often see it then in our charts, and now it is on the chart. We can say that the charts of groups of light, of course, the whole humanity. So let us use these beautiful ideas for that sacred moment that we are living. As we were already contemplating the idea of water and how Hercules worked this, and thinking now the Mercury, the highest ruler, which is in the decade where we can find the constellation of Hercules going on his knees, humbling himself. And in that sense, the wind can take over under the kite so that the kite can fly. Also, this is the alchemical time of Heros Gamos, which is the highest marriage between the father and the mother. The most important time to start new projects and new initiatives. And now we cannot just think about this this yearly cycle or this short term, the monthly cycle. Now we are in the moment of starting a new initiative, a project, group projects, spiritual projects after the forerunner, the time of the forerunner. Start from that. This is the union between the mother, matter, form, personality, the shadow, with the spirit, formless, the inner call of the highest self. Very, very important to understand on which level we need to work this time. It is the most important time of the new creation. It is alchemical union. How conscious we can be, how conscious you can be in this moment right now to create this new. And that's why I'm really asking everyone to stay after the new moon, because we have the group process of bringing forth the seed thought for the coming era after the time of the forerunner. And also, let us look the Sabian symbol for this new moon moment. It is a fellowship supper, reunites old comrades. Keynote the overtones of human relationships based on a community of work or experiences. What we can think that certainly we have a community of work, but certainly we have a community of experiences together. Whatever are those mysterious reasons how we've came together. It said, wherever the symbol appears, it suggests the importance of establishing or strengthening links with those with whom one has shared or can share living experiences. Whatever it's going to be after the time of the Forerunner during these coming years, we have now come to the point that all these preparations ought to be in completion stage, and then we are opening our hearts and minds and take the Dharma into much more deeper and manifestational stage. The value of comradeship is emphasized. So in our minds, let us step into that area of real friendship, comradeships, and thinking about the community of friends in Christ. I am still bringing this, that we would not forget what is also going on at this time. This celestial object, the comet, which has been now passing and moving beyond the sun. We love these comets because they are appearing and they are so unexpected. Oh, inspiring. And they are so profound in their effects. Their appearance always indicates a change and transformation, and coming on this time when we have the energy of transformation, the Scorpio, how much this is also indicated. They disrupt the energies of the inner solar system, affecting humans, animals, the weather, all the kingdoms. It is said that sometimes they bring a change for the better, but usually symbolize evil power, bringing misfortune and disaster. This is what you hear, but of course it is not true. It is the only thing why it happens is that because humanity cannot respond to the higher energies of these celestial messengers. So let us try to understand and align with this higher vibration, and in that sense to become the distributors of these high energies. In my understanding, these energies can be dealt by the group effort. So let us do that. Again, thinking the atlas and the idea of the process in Gemini. And we have Jupiter. So Venus and Jupiter were opposing. So we have Jupiter in Gemini, which is bringing for us this kind of doorway. Because we have the Atlas in this comet Tuija Atlas, and this Atlas was the one who was carrying the weight of the hierarchy. But the last effect of the Gemini labor. So let us take the load from Atlas upon the group shoulders. Let us try to respond at least a little how it is and would be when we step into the work so deeply and dedicate ourselves that we could help hierarchy and to really carry the weight of their light. So we turn in the idea of this moving Tuija purple mountain atlas going now behind and has left the message. It said that a horoscope for the comet is erected for perihelion, which is the closest approach to the sun. The perihelion is the most critical point of the comet's journey, and the most significant astrological meaning comes from the perihelion. And I think it has been now, just like these days, it is disappearing. So let us tune in into the message which this messenger was leaving, and as a group approach to the idea how to take a part in the real hierarchical work. I hope we were able to somewhat gain some insights about this opportunity for us also on that very, very high cosmic level. Of course, we cannot understand on that level in reality, but we can have some little touch of this cosmic event and maybe say goodbye to these force. So next time, how many thousands of years was this arc, the orbit, when it returns again? We should be masters then. Or at least we have finished our earthly career. But we can just send our blessings to that moment when it returns again and blesses those disciples who are working, I think, still here. And we should be working in inner planes. But let us have now the idea of kite in our mind and the idea of freedom. So we will start to work with the very deeply in the energy of freedom, what it means and what it is for the next coming era after the time of the Forerunner. Now turn your gear towards after the time of the Forerunner and start to think and somehow prepare your dharmic relationships. It is the principle of freedom which enables Sanat Kumara to dwell on the earth and yet stand free from all contacts, except with those who have trodden the path of liberation and now stand free upon the cosmic physical plane. It is that which provides a pathway of power between our hierarchy and the distant sun, Sirius, and gives the incentive towards the culture of freedom or of liberation, which motivates the work of the masters of the wisdom. It is that which produced the ferment and the vortex of conflict in far distant ages, and which has been recognized in the present through the results of the law of evolution in every kingdom of nature. It is that which substance or lies under or behind all progress. Let us align with Sirius and Sirius force, and again with this kite, the Pluto is in the tip of the kite, is the Anubis, and which has the special relationship to the Syrian forces. So this Syrian forces of freedom may pour in under our kite and take it in its heights to freedom. And now we have come to the meditation, creative meditation. But having in our background the kite, which we are all holding and building its power via the Mercury, humbling ourselves and really on our knees, that we can uplift the Hydra into the light of the Buddhi during this time of the Diwali, the return of Sri Lakshmi, the soul. We withdraw our consciousness from the personality lives and its vehicles and enter deeply into the presence of the soul. Let us feel ourselves established as soul within the field of light and love and spiritual power. Let us merge as a soul into a deep sense of the group soul. Imaginatively unite in soul with the spiritual minded people all around the world and with men and women of goodwill. Remembering what Tibetan says, where there is goodwill, there must be peace. the group soul merging into the one soul of humanity. Deeply realize, not is but me. Open imaginatively to the higher worlds of wisdom, the spiritual triad, acting as if it is possible for us to receive impression from these worlds. In the presence of the spiritual triad and this great light, let us attempt to feel the presence of the great white brotherhood, the Lords of Masters, the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. And inwardly, and with heartfelt gratitude, let us offer our salutations to the Masters and to the head of the hierarchy, the Christ. Salutations to the Christ, the Master of all Masters. Oh. Salutations to the Master Moria. Salutations to the Master Kutumi. Salutations to the Master Twelkul. Salutations to the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Center where the will of God is known. Imaginatively raise your thought to Shambhala, the center where the will of God is known. With deepest reverence and in all humility, attempt, identified as the group soul, to attune with the presence of Sanat Kumara standing at the center of Shambhala. Sound a long, silent Om as you imagine the divine will and divine purpose descending from Shambhala, seeking to impress the lower spheres one by one. One long, silent Om. The divine contemplatives. Imagine the will of God from Shambhala pouring into the divine contemplatives, the Nirmanakayas, on the monadic plane. Realize that as registrants of the purpose, they focus the divine will and purpose of Shambhala. Sound a long silent Om, imagining the members of the spiritual hierarchy attuning with the divine contemplatives and receiving onto the atmic plane as much of the divine purpose as they can grasp. One long silent Om. Realize that the members of the spiritual hierarchy are custodians of the plan, working to receive divine purpose and to formulate it as divine plan. Attempt to attune as a group to the divine plan, as it is conceived in the minds of the spiritual hierarchy of our planet. Sound now silent Om, imagining a small portion of this great plan, impressing the new group of observers, our group, and your individual consciousness. a long, silent awe. Imagine this descending portion, now strengthened by the spiritual will and qualified by the energy of Scorpio. Formulate during the silence the seed thought for this coming month, for the coming era after the time of the Forerunner. Continue this sacred work in the silence of the new moon. Salutations to the Mother who uproots the cause of death in her devotees. In the light of the impressed, descending energies, qualified now by the sign of the zodiac of Scorpio, ponder on that tiny little energy seed from the divine plan which has impressed itself upon your consciousness. Try to understand the potential of this tiny energy seed and how it can grow into a plan. And which could be considered part of the divine plan, ever seeks to manifest itself on earth. Look towards the future and hold on that tiny little energy seed, the seed thought, which is now given to you and which guardian you are now. Imaginatively focus your will, your love and intelligence to promote the constructive energizing and growth of this process, so that the divine plan may be more completely fulfilled by you according to your Dharma. Believe that these benevolent processes will in time come to fruition, and visualize this whole pattern created by you, your soul. And to be manifested. Imaginatively see this happening. Let us sound the great invocation, blessing the planet, all its kingdoms of nature, and the human race. Happy Diwali, happy new moon. Let us hold deeply this occult moment and realize that this is given for us, these moments. They will never come back. That's why let us use the moments magically and occultly, that we can manifest something which is in our soul. So lots of love to everybody, lots of blessings, and let us stand together, working deeply what we need to do as a group. So now, good afternoon from Finland.